Imagine a king so wealthy that when he traveled across the desert, he gave away so much gold that it changed the value of money in the Middle East for years. Imagine a city so advanced that foreign travelers described it as more organized and more beautiful than the great cities of Europe. Imagine an empire whose art was so detailed, so breathtaking, that even today, the world struggles to recreate it. This was Africa, the Africa they never told you about. Today we uncover the untold story of the great African empires. Long before the arrival of colonial powers, Africa was not a dark continent. It was a land of thriving kingdoms, sophisticated governments, bustling markets, and centers of learning that attracted people from across the world. Take the Mali Empire, for example. In the 14th century, it stretched across much of West Africa. Its capital, Timbuktu, became one of the greatest centers of knowledge in the world, home to libraries filled with thousands of manuscripts on science, medicine, philosophy, and law. Then there was the Songhai Empire, one of the largest empires in African history. With a powerful army, efficient administration, and control of trans-Saharan trade, it connected Africa to the wider world through gold, salt, and other valuable goods. Further south, the Kingdom of Benin flourished. Its people were master artists, producing the famous Benin bronzes, intricate sculptures that told the story of their kings and culture. Benin City itself was described by European visitors as larger and more orderly than many European capitals of the time. And in southern Africa stood Great Zimbabwe, a civilization famous for its massive stone walls and towers built without mortar. It was the center of a vast trade network that reached as far as China and the Middle East. These were not scattered tribes living in isolation. These were empires, strong, wealthy, and advanced. But what drove these empires? What did they desire? They sought prosperity, unity, and influence. Their rulers dreamed of building societies where their people could thrive. The Mali Empire wanted to spread learning, so they established schools and libraries. Benin wanted to showcase its power and culture, so it invested in art and architecture. Great Zimbabwe's builders wanted to leave behind monuments that would stand the test of time. The desire was simple: to secure their place in history, to leave a legacy that future generations would admire. But with greatness comes conflict. Inside the empires, there were struggles for power. Rival rulers fought over succession, weakening their states. Neighboring kingdoms clashed over territory and resources. And from outside came even greater threats. Traders from across the desert sought to control Africa's wealth. Later, European explorers and colonizers arrived, drawn by stories of gold and riches. The Mali Empire eventually fractured under the weight of internal division and external attacks. The Songhai Empire fell after a Moroccan invasion armed with gunpowder weapons, technology the Africans did not yet have. The Kingdom of Benin was looted and burned by the British in 1897, its priceless bronzes stolen and displayed in European museums. But perhaps the greatest conflict was not fought with weapons. It was fought with words, with the rewriting of history. Colonial powers deliberately painted Africa as primitive, a land without civilization. They erased the memory of these empires to justify slavery and colonization. For centuries, the world believed Africa had no history. That was the conflict, the silencing of a continent's greatness. But history cannot stay buried forever. Today, the truth is resurfacing. Archaeologists are uncovering the ruins of Great Zimbabwe. The manuscripts of Timbuktu are being preserved and digitized. Historians are rewriting Africa's story based on evidence, not colonial bias. There is also a movement to return stolen artifacts, like the Benin bronzes, to their rightful homes. And most importantly, Africans themselves are reclaiming their history through film, literature, music, and education. The narrative is changing. The world is beginning to see Africa not as a victim of history, but as the birthplace of greatness. And what are the results of this rediscovery? A new generation of Africans is rising with pride, knowing that their ancestors built empires that rivaled the greatest in the world. Global conversations about history, colonialism, and justice are shifting. Museums and universities are finally acknowledging what was once denied. Most importantly, the untold story of Africa is inspiring millions to look forward with confidence. Because when you know your past, you can shape your future. The great African empires were not lost, they were silenced. And now we are telling their story. This is just the beginning. Africa's story is still being written. If you believe these stories must be told, share this video, subscribe for more, and together let's rewrite the narrative of our history. Because the untold story of Africa must be told.